Yes, every life matters, especially the black lives, as we've seen these days. It is difficult for you to be a human being on earth after seeing that clip. Some of us don't have the heart to watch the whole 9 minutes of it. The clip alone is enough to tell you the heart of man. God created every single soul for a reason and for a purpose. We may not understand why we are created, but there is a reason why every soul is important and every soul matters. At a time like this, it is difficult for us all to turn away from the issue. You know, as I was speaking to a younger sister of mine yesterday, and she said, please, Auntie, do a video. And that's why I just decided, you know what, I'll add my own little advice and you bless somebody as they watch the video. Growing up as a little girl, I heard charity, charity, charity flagged all over the world, especially in Africa. And as a woman, I still hear charity, 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 charity. It goes to tell us charity as people have not worked for us. Why hasn't it worked? I'll come to that. I was telling the friend, I said, I have biological kids. When I gave birth to them at a certain point, I gave them breast milk. And at a certain time, they went off breast milk and they started drinking milk and eating meat. And they grew up to be amazing gentlemen and ladies. So it is important for us to see that if something hasn't worked for us for so long, we need to see how. Strangely enough, Corona seems to be racist in the process. Corona has exposed the black race more than ever before. So there is something about the black race that we black people, we need to look into and deal with it. I know every life matters, and especially now Black Lives Matter more because of the racism and discrimination. Yes, we have seen the riots, yes, we have seen the march, the protests and everything. This is not the first time I'm actually seeing a march or reading about it, for the black discrimination and everything. So why does the black man always tend to be the bottom of the barrel? It is something for each black person, wherever you are in the world, to ask that question to yourself. So when Corona came, coronavirus, COVID-19 as it's popularly known, came and they said there was a more tendency that a black person will die than any other ethnic minority or any other or than the white person. We start to ask ourselves why. Yes, we know there's discrimination. Whether we like it or not, there is discrimination in every culture and in every society. If we're being very honest and genuine to ourselves, we can all bring it down to the black and white thing, but it wouldn't take us far because our parents did it. It didn't take them far, and now we've continued. So something has to change, and the change starts with you and I. I was telling my son this afternoon, I said every race seems to have an issue with the black race. Even the black people themselves have issues with themselves. So it is difficult for anybody to take us seriously. Let us look around us. I was telling my son this morning, I said, if you take a pound and you put in a Jewish community, let's say, that pound will go through 18 to 21 Jewish families before it leaves their community. Take the same pound and put in a black community. You'll be lucky to exchange 3 hands and you'll be out of the black community. So the black community is always begging. And now we've become the bottom of the barrel. Corona comes and says we're dying more. Why are we dying more? Statistics in England will show potters, majority of the potters in the United Kingdom, I'm not saying all, majority are blacks. The road sweepers are black. The NHS, majority of them are blacks from Africa and from ethnic minorities. So we now see they are at the forefront. The care jobs in the UK, majority of them are blacks. So we can see why we are dying more, because the jobs we're doing are exposed. Yes, we're now held as heroes because everybody's putting their lives at the forefront in protection. I was telling my brother, who's a medical doctor, that he's the goalkeeper. So if any virus passes the doctors, we're all contaminated. So now the doctors have become the goalkeepers, making sure that the virus doesn't come out. So what should an average black man do? Statistics have exposed us. Coronavirus has come and told us we die more. Why? If you look at an average black man, doesn't really go to the hospital that much, or neither go for medical checkup as often as a white or any other ethnic minority does. And we in our community, whether we want to agree or not, the issues we have a lot is womanizing, drinking, and smoking. And those create a fundamental medical issues in our lives that we know nothing about. And then until when corona comes and hits us, we start to die. Somebody might put it down to discrimination. We know there's an element of that. But let us all transform our minds and transform ourselves. Let us look at something different. Rioting has never helped. If it helped in the UK, rioting happened how many times so far? But there is still embedded racism. So it is for a black man then to look at something. What should we do differently? An average black man doesn't know how to support another one. Yes, we don't really know how to work together. We like the concept of me, myself, and I. We like the concept of to be at top while everybody else is at the with begging bowls behind you. But if you look at other cultures, they tend to hold each other to build up. So I'll give this demonstration for those who want to follow me. This is a broom indicating an average black man or woman. You want to stand alone. It's easy for any other community to break you down, to remove you from the scene and completely eliminate you, and you're not seen at all anymore. But then, if we want to be a powerful people, excuse me for 1 minute, you become the broom. You become the broom together, made by several others, and it's impossible for anybody to break it. When the broom is together like this, it becomes difficult. When we learn to hold one another and support one another up to become better, our community, our society, our nations will become far better than what we are today. If we see the black race has always been a race in question. When vaccines came out, when vaccines were tried, they were even thinking about it. The first place was, let's go to Africa and test it there. Why Africa? Of course, you will always have the odd leaders who are willing to sell their people short for extra change and everything. So the white man always knows the average black man's mentality. They can buy us with money and you sell your people short. So if we transform our mindset, if we keep it real and honest to ourselves, we'll become a community, a society that will be stronger than ever before. I'll leave you with this before I go. Ask yourself a question. There's so many African countries still paying colonial tax to the European nations. Ask yourself, why are we paying the tax? Knowing that we are third world, knowing that we're developing, knowing that we are not significant. Why then is the economic wealth going to keep the first world on? When we start to transform our mindsets, when we start to think far above the box, we know that the looting and the breaking of stores and bringing down people's houses, burning, will not help us. It'll make noise for a while. Within 2-3 weeks, guess what? Everybody will go their homes. We'll all forget. But if we transform our mindsets, we create a platform that our children and our children's children will stand up and go higher. Let us transform our mind as from today and be a stronger race, a stronger force, not in a negative way, but in a positive way.